Have you ever hit that point in life where you just stop believing things can get better? Like you're doing everything you're supposed to do, working hard, staying positive, manifesting, journaling, and life still feels like it's pushing you underwater? That was me. And honestly, it felt like something deep inside me just completely shut down. I kept telling myself things like, my time is coming, or trust the process. But month after month, absolutely nothing changed. I was watching everyone else move forward. My friends were buying homes, my coworkers were getting promotions, and people online were constantly talking about abundance and alignment. Meanwhile, I was over here struggling to pay a water bill and pretending to everyone that everything was fine. It wasn't even about the money anymore. It was the soul-crushing exhaustion of feeling stuck. It felt like the universe had put me on mute. I seriously tried everything. I did affirmations until my voice was hoarse. I bought manifestation courses. I spent hours on YouTube with guided meditations. I did scripting, made vision boards, listened to binaural beats. I prayed. I went to therapy. I even dove headfirst into hustle culture and read every mindset book I could get my hands on. And every single time something didn't work, a little voice in my head got louder saying, maybe abundance just isn't meant for you. There's a specific kind of loneliness that comes with that feeling. It's not because you're physically alone, but because nobody around you truly understands the heaviness you're carrying every single day. My breaking point came one morning when I checked my bank balance and saw $12.71. The worst part? I wasn't even surprised. I just stared at the screen thinking, how did my life become this small? I remember whispering to myself, I don't want to live like this anymore. I didn't want to die. I just didn't want to live like this. A friend of mine, someone who had actually gone through her own really dark phase, asked me a question that completely stopped me in my tracks. She said, what if your problem isn't outside of you? What if it's inside? She wasn't blaming me. It was more like she was suggesting that my internal energy system had been offline for years. She told me she'd been using this audio thing that supposedly wakes up the part of your mind responsible for intuition, for clarity, and for receiving abundance. By this point, I didn't believe in any of that stuff anymore. I was too jaded. But still, something inside me whispered, you've tried everything else. What's one more thing? So she sent me a link to something called The Last Wish. They were these short audio tracks based on pineal gland activation research from places like Harvard and the University of Michigan. I'll be honest, I rolled my eyes. 7 minutes? Just put on headphones? It's going to wake up my spiritual senses? It sounded ridiculous. But that night, I was so mentally and emotionally drained. I just put on my headphones and hit play. I don't know how to explain what happened next, but it felt like someone flipped a light switch on in the back of my mind. It was this strange, subtle shift. The very first thing I noticed wasn't money. It was clarity. My constant anxiety just slowed down. My decisions became sharper, more confident. Opportunities that I used to completely overlook started popping up everywhere. Then the money started flowing. Not from some magical source, but because something in me had finally turned back on. It was like I wasn't fighting the universe anymore. It felt like I finally stopped blocking what was already meant for me all along. Look, I'm not here to tell you this will change your life overnight. I'm not saying it's some miracle audio that fixes everything. But for me, it was the first thing that reached the part of me that had been completely numb for years. If you feel exhausted, if you feel invisible to the universe, if you've tried everything and nothing has worked for you, just know this. You are not broken. You are not unlucky. And you are definitely not cursed. Your mind might just be asleep, and waking it up, that might just change everything. Thank you for listening.